This video will focus on comparing or ordering numbers in a variety of formats from most likely least to greatest, but you could apply it to greatest to least as well. Now let's begin. The first of two examples, without a calculator, order from least to greatest, presents you with three numbers, a decimal, a square root of an irrational number, and a fraction. I'm going to suggest that you convert everything into decimals, and therefore anything that's already a decimal or anything that can be easily converted with long division into a decimal, you should do that right away to make your life easy. As for irrational numbers, this will be the focus of this task. Really, it's choosing to estimate this to the best of your ability. I do have a different video called Estimating Irrationals by Hand that you may choose to watch. But through the power of editing, I'm going to go ahead and estimate this problem to its nearest decimal. And I'm going to estimate that the square root of 13 is approximately 3.6. It is not exactly 3.6, and if I used a calculator, I'm sure I would get something more precise. But look at this. It will do the point, because one of these numbers is less than 3, one of them is a little more than 3, and one of them is more than 3.5, at least according to our estimate. So we can order these from least, which is the 14/5, to medium, 3.29, to greatest, square root of 13. And I have complete confidence that those three numbers are now written in order from least to greatest. As for the second example, a larger degree of precision may be needed. Now my technique is the same. I'd like to convert my 5 numbers all into the same form. That would be decimals. I already have one decimal. I can convert the second one quickly into a decimal. The third one is a decimal, as is the fifth one. So I really only have one problem to work on. Once again, I'm going to go through that technique and estimate the square root of 93. And with somewhat of a varied technique, you'll notice that on this one I didn't write all the numbers between 81 and 100 because there were going to be a lot of them. I estimated that the in-between value of 81 and 100, or the mean of those two numbers, would be about 91.5. 93 is just a bit above that, so it should be a bit above halfway. Second example that's like this, that's just good luck or bad luck depending on your perspective, but that does tell me that this one should be about 9.6. Now I do have a couple concerns here. 9.6, well, that's pretty close to 9.5 repeating, and it's pretty close to 9.63 repeating as well. So on this one, before I place anything, I'm going to do one additional step. And for that, I'm going to say that this estimation was not sufficient to do what we needed. It got us close, but it didn't really give us what we needed. What I'm going to do instead is I'm going to take this 9.63, and I'm going to square it to see if I come out with 93. Now, I know I'm not going to get 93, but if I did, that would mean that the square root of 93 is exactly equal to 9.63. Now, that's not the case because the square root of 93 has more decimals. In fact, it has an infinite number of decimals. So those are not going to be the same. Therefore, when I take 9.63 and I multiply it by 9.63, I'm going to get a number that will either be above 93 or below 93. And that will let me know where 93 stands related to something that I already know, 9.63. So, and I end up with 92.7369. That's very precise, and that is lower than the square root of 93. So here's what I'm going to notice. I'm going to notice that my 9.63 is lower than the square root of 93. So we could say that the square root of 93 is bigger than. Now, the other number that it was close to is 9.5 repeating, but if the square root of 93 is bigger than 9.6, it's going to also be bigger than 9.5 repeating, so there's no reason to work on that one. In which case, we're pretty much done here. I'm going to go ahead and just make up kind of a random number, 9.6. It doesn't really matter, 9.64, for example, just to give you an idea of where it goes on the number line. So with that in mind, I'll switch colors, get a little more precise, and let's finish this problem off. I have my 9 1/2. That goes right in the middle. I have 9.63. Well, here's 9.6. So 9.63 is about a third of the way, or 3/10 of the way over. 9.63. The next thing that I have is going to be my square root of 93, which we estimated to be a bit bigger than still, but I'm not really sure exactly what it is. I just know that it's bigger. I have 9.5 repeating. That's approximately halfway in between 9.5 and 9.6. And I have my 9.8, which should be easy. 9.8 is this number over here. So 9.8. I'll clean this up just a little bit. And we are in business. So with that in mind, that is another application of how to use the estimates of square roots, of irrationals, and how to get some additional precision based on the question you have in front of you, should you need it.